Everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's going to be a new style video where I'm going to be taking you through street interviews where I'm going to ask people, do they trust their co-workers? And what I'm predicting is there'll be a lot of people who say they don't want to answer that question. And we all know why, because I talk about this in my videos. They are scared to lose their job. They're not being their authentic self. And you'll see that in today's interview. We should have some people that will ask that question. But the whole point of this video is just to expose the fact so many people are scared not only to lose their job, but they're not being true. If they don't trust their co-workers, people should say, no, I do not trust my co-workers. I'm fully aware. I'm here to fulfill a role and I don't trust my co-workers because they're doing the same and we're in a highly competitive environment. But as you will see, many people won't want to answer this question. So let's get into it. Okay, what you're going to see straight away, I'm going to go up to my first person, watch the real life rejection. So when you see other people doing street interviews, me, Simon Squibb, other people, you wouldn't realise how many no's you actually get. So look, I'm going to prove my point. Let's see who wants to answer this question. Excuse me, are you up for a quick social question? No? There we go. What do I say? First one of the day. You've got to jump straight into it. Excuse me, you up for a quick question? No time? Are you up for a quick question, sir? There we go. So we're asking people today, do you trust your co-workers?
No, definitely not.
And why not?
People are weird, people are shady, so you can't trust anyone in this world.
You are my kind of person. I'm so glad you said that. Do you feel people should understand that it's a workplace, we're all going in to do a job, you shouldn't get too close, and you certainly don't love your co-workers?
Yeah, no, I feel like there's a limit, so don't overshare too much. And I feel like a lot of people get too comfortable, so...
I love that. Amazing. Thank you so much. Cheers. There we go. First one of the day. This is like business. You just got to jump straight into it. It's a numbers game, people. I'm going to ask these two sitting down. Excuse me, is it all right if I ask you a quick question about the workplace? Is that all right? And so we're asking people today, do you trust co-workers? Or if you're no longer in a job, do you advise people trust co-workers and get too close?
We don't have co-workers. It's just us.
Are you entrepreneurs or you... Oh, love it. Okay, so if people were in the workplace, what would you advise? Do they become too friendly? Is the workplace like a family or not?
Like a family.
Like a family.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think that does as a positive, being like a family?
Well, it's a family-owned business, so, we've worked with it for...
So you hire family. There you go.
30 years.
Thank you. Well, that literally is a family.
Yeah.
Do you trust your co-workers or should you?
Not fully, no.
And why?
Because I don't know them well enough, like outside of work, I'd say, yeah.
Amen. I mean, that's my whole motto.
Okay.
I'm trying to expose the fact that people are getting too close and the whole red flag of we're like a family.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that when people say we're like a family?
Yeah, I think you're only a family when it suits them, really, aren't you, for the company? Like, I saw, I'm a Liverpool fan, I saw Diogo Jota, obviously, sadly died recently, and, the amount of people that have come together for that is amazing, but I think that's like... The exemption. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
Awesome.
worries.
Cheers,
Cheers,
dude. Thanks, mate. Excuse me. Are any of you up for a quick 30-second question about the workplace? 30 seconds. No? Oh. I don't know why, but I think this guy's smoking. I feel like he doesn't trust his work colleagues, so let's go ask him. Can I ask you a quick question about the workplace?
Just at work, so I'm okay.
30 seconds?
I'm okay, thank you.
Okay. Scared to lose his job. And you know what? I'm actually glad that we've interviewed some people that have said they don't trust their co-workers. That means they might have their money right, or they're like me and they've got confidence and that they're true to their authentic self. Because the people who will say, oh yeah, I love my co-workers, oh God, we're a family, they're typically the ones who are in desperation for their job, so don't be that person. Guys, you up for a quick 30-second question about the workplace? No. You were thinking about it. Do you trust your co-workers?
Oh, yes. They're my best mates, love them.
100%?
100%.
And why? I'll tell you what, let me ask you this. If it got to the point where you needed your back covered, I know it's a small, probably independent, but if HR got involved and you needed someone to step in and say, I've got her back 100%, knowing that they've also got to feed their family, and just be mindful, could you trust them to back you up?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't mop the other day and Keir backed me up, so... it's okay.
Naughty. No mopping. But you do trust your co-workers? Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. I don't think I'm buying that she trusts her co-workers. I think she was covering her bum then. I don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments. Do you trust your co-workers?
Yes, well, I have to.
Oh, wow. What'd you do?
I'm a paramedic.
Okay.
So it's kind of crucial.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I would say though, so if you let me throw it like this: if something happened where you got invited into an investigation meeting of any kind and you needed backing up, can you rely on them?
Yeah, of course. I think I would.
Yeah.
I think, well, in my workplace, you're stuck in a cab with another bloke or another woman for 12 hours a day, you kind of develop a bit of trust.
That's a long time. And lastly, I do a lot of content around this, and it has to come up the most, the NHS, about how toxic the environment can be at times. Is that kind of true, working in it? Is it? Do you have that pressure of it?
I think it's like any workplace. Like, there's the 1%ers that are out there. It's just human nature. People are people. But I think, like, well, I work in London, and my workplace is awesome. The culture's awesome. Everyone's super supportive and that sort of thing. I've heard the same sort of thing from the NHS, but I haven't experienced it yet.
Amazing. Awesome. Thanks so much, mate. Cheers. Thanks, dude. Cheers, mate. Do you trust your co-workers?
Yes, I would. I would say I do. Yeah.
And why?
Well, even though I've only known them for 2 weeks, I think that the job that we're doing is like a summer camp for kids. You spend a lot of time with each other, so you have to learn to, trust that they'll be there for their shift and stuff like that.
And what's your thoughts finally on the workplace is like a family? Do you agree with that, or is that sort of crossing boundaries? And do you think it's important to have boundaries in the workplace?
Yes, I would say so. I think a family, obviously it depends how long you work with them. You become very close to people you work with for sure, but it's always nice to go back and not have that relationship with people. And so to describe me as a family, for sure, I think it's more metaphorically though, rather than literally. Yeah.
Boundaries are healthy in the workplace, right? Stay mentally sane. Awesome. Thanks so much, dude. Thank you. Do you trust your co-workers?
Yeah.
And what's made you trust them?
They're just like nice people. They understand. I get a hug after every shift.
So let me ask you a question. And this is what I'm trying to sort of dive into, if things got to the worst case where maybe you went in an investigation, HR involved, I know it's a small independent, but thinking about maybe a bigger corporate, if you needed to rely on someone, do you think in the corporate world you can rely, or in employment of any kind, do you think you can rely on that person to back you up if you needed them?
As in just HR?
Yeah, if something happened and you were like, God, I really need you to step up and cover me here, although this might shine a bit of a black light on you perhaps.
Are you asking me if I trust HR?
No, if you trust your co-workers to back you up if something was to happen in the workplace.
Oh, big time. Yeah. Komodo coffee.
I love that. Nice plug. Awesome. Thanks, mate. We are with the man, the myth, the legend, Jackson. Mate, do you trust your co-workers?
I like to think I can, yeah. When I've worked with them, I've always enjoyed working with my co-workers. I've always felt like I can trust them, but ultimately I feel like you can never truly know.
And the other thing is as well, when push comes to shove, and this is the question I'm asking, if something hits the fan and you need people to back you up, are they going to be there where you can rely on them to get you out of the poo-poo?
My experience has been that they definitely can, but I think that's probably a lot rarer these days than it was back in the day. But my experience has been very positive, but that's maybe not necessarily reflective of how it is in the average workplace.
But I would say, knowing you've kind of been there, you've done that, and you've probably put in boundaries. I think that's the one thing as well. Not enough people have boundaries to stop these problems actually coming to them. So would you say boundaries are important in the workplace?
Oh, they're essential. Otherwise, you can end up getting walked all over, and you end up hating your job because you've never set up those boundaries, so they never get respected, and then you end up miserable.
And let's face it, no one's going to walk all over you. Okay, so we've asked quite a few people at the moment. We're going to ask a few more. Do they trust their co-workers? And we've got about a half and half split at this point. But look, what is the purpose of me asking that question? Well, as someone who creates content around the workplace, many people suffer with mental health issues. They've been done over, they've been burnt by co-workers. And the frank of it is, there's a lot of people who are mentally suffering, right, and who don't enjoy their jobs. And it all stems from not having boundaries. It's not a case of not getting on with your co-workers and being polite and, courteous and saying, afternoon and morning and whatever. I'm not saying that, but when you get too close and you think it's okay to call them a family and that you love your workplace and you detach yourself from the things that really matter, which is your family, that's when you allow the problems to come in. If your bosses or your co-workers know too much about your life, eventually when push comes to shove, it will be leveraged against you. You have to know the difference between the workplace and your real life, and that's super, super important. I think if we go off the World Health Organization, there's around about 291 million people who are clinically diagnosed with depression due to the workplace. So the point of all of this is to try and actually address the issue of you do not trust your co-workers, because push comes to shove, they will screw you over. Do you think you should trust your co-workers? And if you're in the workplace, do you trust your co-workers?
I definitely think I trust my co-workers, but to an extent. I wouldn't share a lot about my personal life with them, like if it's something that's kind of going on at the moment. Maybe something that happened in the past, like telling them about a funny story, but nothing current. I try to keep my private life to myself.
I love that. Can I just say that's probably, I've asked a lot of people today, that's probably the most well-balanced, grown-up answer, because that is on point to what I would say, is you sound like someone who has boundaries and knows what to say and what not to say and not to get too close. So any advice for people who, because you typically learn from mistakes, right? And there are a lot of people that say, well, I love my work and, you know, we're a family. I think that's really dangerous and where a lot of problems stem from, and that's the whole point of this social question. Any sort of top tips around keeping those boundaries? Because just finally to add to that, people do get too comfortable and they're like, well, I spend more time with them when I do my family. That's not a good thing though, but yeah, any tips?
I think definitely kind of making it clear in your mind, like, this is my workspace, this is my career, this is the whole nother part of my life. It's like I try, and may sound a bit crazy, but I try not to get too friendly with my coworkers, you know? We still are coworkers first and then friends second, especially in the workplace. So respect your workplace as a professional setting. And if you're meeting your coworkers outside of that, it can be a lot more friendly, a lot more casual, but remember, they still have that responsibility back in the workplace. So I think it's making it clear in your mind that this is a different environment and it's a different culture as well. It's not like just hanging out with your mates, you can't use the same language and all that. So just kind of reminding yourself, like, this is a professional environment and you have to have a different etiquette around it.
I love that. And just finally, something that I'm trying to push is that when the worst happens and maybe there's an investigation meeting, when people say, I trust my co-workers, you know, we're bezies, people can turn very quick when they have to pay bills and they're thinking, well, if I go into this meeting and I stick up for them, am I going to be black marked? Will this go against me? And that's where true colours sort of tend to shine through. So yeah, I have to say this is probably the best answer I've had all day, and I've asked a lot of people. So you sound very well rounded. Can I just ask you one more? From your answer, I'm going to assume you don't have any sort of toxic sort of environment, mental health issues due to the workplace, because it sounds like you're very level-headed, whereas so many people have the dreaded Sunday anxiety feeling. So you sound like you're very well sort of rounded.
No, definitely. I think in my past jobs and my past workplaces, especially when I freshly turned 18, kind of getting into the workplace, I was a lot more like that, you know, anxious about going into work. But once I started to put those boundaries in place for myself, like especially mentally, like when I step into work, that's completely different than when I'm at home. And when I leave that space, that's completely different as well. So it took a lot of time and practice to kind of put that discipline in myself, but it's definitely very important for a healthy work life and just healthy life in general.
I love that. That is the best answer we've had all day. So thank you so much for your time. Do you trust your co-workers? And if you do, what has put you in that place where you feel comfortable to trust co-workers?
In terms of what?
Would they back you up in a meeting if you needed backing up? Do you trust them to tell them about your personal life? Would that ever be leveraged against you to better their position in a promotion?
I do trust co-workers to talk about personal life things, but specific ones. Like I maybe wouldn't talk about it to the manager because then they're in charge of my salary and blah blah blah. But then if it's her over there, I trust her because like she's like my best friend and we're on the same level in terms of the hierarchy of the workplace.
And do you think it's important to have boundaries so that you stop? You know, a lot of people do, and this is a fact, a lot of people suffer with mental health issues, especially in toxic environments, and I talk a lot about this. Do you think it's important to understand, learn from mistakes, don't get burnt, but most importantly, you avoid all of that if you have boundaries to know who to say what to and the person you avoid?
Yeah, I think that is really good. I feel like I'm someone who can read, more or less. If someone's going to be okay with my information, okay to hear it, but then they're going to nurture it and like look after it.
So having like a good judge of character.
Yeah. It depends on the judge of character. I'm totally open to share it. And I love when people trust me to share their mental health with me. I love that. And then I will kind of remember that and maybe share something of my own to that person. So maybe that makes someone more trustworthy as well, if they already trust me.
So there we go. She trusts you. That's good. The trust has been built. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Thank you. Okay, cool. So ladies and gents, we are wrapping up for today. Do let me know what you thought in the comments and ultimately if you trust your co-workers. Again, the message is not to get too close. Remember, if you do and things start to go pear-shaped, you have to ask yourself the question, these people that are feeding their families and have to pay their bills first, are they going to back you up? The most important part, and as the lady who I interviewed a couple of people ago, really well-rounded, balanced answer about knowing who to say what to, have those boundaries in place, and just to not overstep that mark. And that is the way you're going to be able to survive in the corporate world. Because look, I understand this, not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur, not everyone's going to be able to run their own business. So if you are going to remain in the corporate world, it is about survival of the fittest. So in order to survive and have longevity in a corporate world, so you can pay your bills, you have to have boundaries. So look, if you did enjoy this, let me know in the comments. As always, please do like and subscribe. And my answer, as always, and as I always say, you do not trust your freaking co-workers.